Let us pray. On this day of celebration and achievement, we give thanks to God for students and staff who have challenged our perceptions and enriched our learning, and for family and friends who encourage us to achieve our goals. Bless all our graduates today as they journey forth from here to guide others on the path of discovery and learning. In their teaching, may they use their creativity and vision to capture the imagination of others. May they use their gifts of compassion and understanding in seeking to uphold the welfare of our community. Guide those who will use their newfound wisdom and skill to plan and engineer an exciting new future and reach beyond the boundaries of their science to benefit the life of others. May blessing be upon all our graduates as they go forth with a spirit of courage and compassion to meet whatever challenge lies ahead. Amen.
Please be seated. So let me start by welcoming you all to this graduation ceremony. It's great that the weather has managed to come good for us. That will make it an even more joyous occasion. It is an occasion of ceremony, but it's an occasion when we also like to make sure that everybody feels a sense of celebration. So please all join in that spirit. Cheer and applaud your loved ones and friends as they come across the stage and enjoy the whole occasion. So I call upon the Vice Principal, Professor Carl Leidecker.
Vice-Chancellor, Depute Lord Provost, graduands, Honorary graduand, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to begin by welcoming all of you to our graduation ceremony. And to those of you who are here for the first time, can I extend a very warm welcome. Now, it is typical in graduation ceremonies that before we get to the real business of graduation and your achievements, the proceedings start with a speech, hopefully not too long, celebrating the university from which you are about to graduate. But today we are going to break with that tradition, not in abandoning this opening celebratory speech, but instead of starting with the university, we will dwell instead on the city. Because today, by being here in Dundee, you are visiting one of the world's must-visit places of 2018. And for any cynics in the audience, this is not an accolade we awarded ourselves, but one which was bestowed on Dundee in 2018 by a cosmopolitan cast of commentators, including the Wall Street Journal, Lonely Planet, CNN News, The Guardian, to name but a few. So, bask for a moment in being completely on trend for 2018 and in one of the world's most sought-after locations. Much of this current excitement, of course, has been focused on the opening of V&A Dundee, Kengo Kumar's magnificent new design museum at the heart of the waterfront. What you may not know is that the idea of bringing this world-famous museum to Dundee was hatched at the university over a decade ago. And we are immensely proud to have worked hand in glove with local and national partners to make it happen. So, as excited headline writers now eulogize the arrival of Bilbao on the Tay or the Guggenheim effect, it is clear that the V&A is transforming our city. And that is also the core of our mission and belief here at the university, transformation. That, of course, is what leading universities do. We take our knowledge, our ideas, and our commitment and use it to transform lives. And very soon, after today's celebrations, it will be your turn as new graduates to start transforming the lives of others, taking with you all that you have learned from your teachers, from each other, and from a city itself undergoing a transformation. We hope that in your time at Dundee, each of you has tasted that sense of possibility, and that your time here at Dundee has equipped you to take your next step with confidence, to step out into the world willing to be bold, to be creative, and determined to make your own impact. So, just before that all-important walk across the stage, let me add just a few final words, not about the city, but about the university from which you are about to graduate. First, know that graduation is the most important day in the university's academic calendar. Seeing you, our new graduates, cross the stage after your years of hard work is a proud moment for us at the university, as it is for you and your family and friends here to support you today. As you move on, pause today to be proud of the choice you made in coming to Dundee. Our teaching and student experience are consistently ranked one of the best in the United Kingdom. Our graduates are among the most employable in the UK. In the inaugural Teaching Excellence Framework, the assessment of teaching quality for UK universities, we received a Gold Award, the highest possible. Our research is equally impressive. Whilst you have all been studying here, our professors have been discovering new drugs to tackle diseases like malaria and raising awareness amongst healthcare professionals and the general public about hidden conditions such as fibromyalgia. We are among Europe's most innovative universities and have been named the world's most influential pharmaceuticals research institution, ahead of the likes of MIT and Berkeley in California. We have partnered with CERN in Switzerland, opening up a new level of performance for the Large Hadron Collider, a link that is also opening up opportunities for our students to work on the biggest science experiment in the world. And like all great universities, we are global in our outlook. Our staff and students come from over 140 countries. That's nearly 3/4 of the countries of the world. And increasingly, we don't simply bring the world to study in Dundee, we take the Dundee experience to the world. With record numbers of applications to come and study here, distance learners everywhere from the US to Kenya to New Zealand, and pioneering partnerships with universities in China, Singapore, and elsewhere, it is clear that our outlook will be ever more international in the future. Every one of these achievements is driven by the strong sense of community that exists here. You will have experienced this yourselves during your studies with us, and I hope you continue to feel part of it in the years to come. Let me end with our ask of you, our about-to-be graduands. When you cross the stage today, commit yourself to staying connected to us. Every one of you becomes today one of our global ambassadors. It's a lifelong membership. You should always consider this as your university. Take pride in that and share your passion for the university and your connection to the city in all the years ahead, even when the list of fashionable locations has moved on. After all, you will always be able to claim that you graduated the very year that the rest of the world woke up to the delights of Dundee. Today is a very personal accomplishment for each of you. And as you receive your degree and then step out into the world as a graduate and ambassador for the University of Dundee, know that we, your university, its staff and students, and your fellow graduates, wish you the very best for the future. Thank you, everyone, and many congratulations.
I call upon the Dean of the School of Education and Social Work, Professor Tim Kelly.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to present for the degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honors, Sarah Fogg. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Emma Donaldson. Gemma Dugan. Katie Elder. Lindsay Farmer. Tracy Fife. Natalie Harrell. Jacqueline Lamb. Joanna McCalman. Nicola McKinley. Tracy Nelson. Debbie Nisbet. Wendy Watts. John Allen. Guy Ashby. Ewan Ballantyne. Leslie Dawson. Gareth King. Ian Martin. Scott McGuire. Philip Menery. Nick Morgan. Patricia Wallace. William McLean. And for the degree of undergraduate certificate in teaching qualification further education, Kenneth Alexander. Avril Burns.
This is Avril Burns. She's a very, very special lady. She has 4 children and 2 grandchildren. I can't believe that, but she told me it's true. She left school 31 years ago and took up a career in cookery. And she's now the head pastry chef at the 5-star Cromlix Hotel. But she's always had an ambition to be a lecturer, to pass on her expertise. And to do that, she studied part-time for an HNC and then an HND at Forth Valley College. And then took up a distance learning, a teaching qualification in further education here at the University of Dundee. And she already has her lecturing job at East Fife College, set up, ready to go. And she'll still be working at the Cromlix at the same time. So she's very, very special indeed. It's a fantastic Dundee story, raising a family, having a job which is very demanding, and then going on to further study through distance learning. And it is a great story about lifelong learning. But it's even more fantastic than that, because Avril is our 100,000th graduate, which is pretty amazing, don't you think? And with her today are her husband, Drew, and her youngest daughter, Amber, to help us celebrate. So, Avril, many congratulations. Thank you.
And now, Sarah Carlin. Innes Drummond. Allison Elliott. Mark Haddo. Matthew Howitt. Margaret John. Carol Ann Kelly. Michelle Lapsley. Gerald McCade. Pamela O'Kane. Fraser Robb. Martin Rogers. Jason Ross. Robert Shields. David Tracy. For the postgraduate certificate in international education, Patience Amika Ugwanali. And for the postgraduate certificate in leading, learning, and teaching, sorry. One moment, please. Lindsay Steele. And for the postgraduate certificate in teaching qualification, further education, oh no, I've already done those, haven't I? So, no, I haven't. Is this right? Right, okay. Okay, great. I'm setting the bar high for the people who have to come after me. It's Gail Agnew. Ulabunbi Babola. Catherine Baxter. Fiona Beck. Joan Bell. Stephanie Creod. Frances Bonner. Pauline Ferguson. Lynn Harvey. John Kennard. Kirsty Miller. Carrie Nayland. Rebecca Nickel. Christopher Nixon. For the postgraduate certificate in education, Caroline Adams. Laurel Brown. Sarah Burgess. Paula Cameron. Andrew Carolyn. Emily Chemitsky. Carol Ann Crawford. Duncan Crichton. Don Duncan. Nicole English. Mari Esplin. Caroline Farquharson. Mari Frame. April Ganet. Natalie Healy. Megan Kelby. Katie Langlands. Graham Lynch. Stephanie Lyon. Emma McQueen. Crystal Maley. Lucy Matheson. Ashley McClary. Philippa Mary. Fiona Milton. Erin Reynolds. Anna Sabti. David Sinkler. Laura Sinkler. Danielle Sweeney. Alexander Thurlow. Fiona Tugman. Stephanie Vallett.
Denise is here. She's next. She's calling me. Which one? Denise. Okay.
Denise Watt. Lindsay Welsh. Don Westwood. Laura West. For the postgraduate diploma in nursery early education, Vivian Lang. For the postgraduate diploma in primary education, Karen Black. Gemma Boak. Lauren Bowl. Victoria Carroll. Rachel Chalmers. Benjamin Chapman. Deblina Chowdhury. Vicky Childerstone. Brian Kreitzen. Callum Crugan. Louise Curran. Eileen Dodomo Rodwell. Dana Dayil. Lindsay Davies. Joanna Denver. Kendall Dewar. Jennifer Dobson. Stephen Edwardson. Cora Flavin. Kirsty Fraser. Sonia Fyans. Monica Golombek. Kay Hindmarsh. James Hollywood. Fiona Holmes. Robert Howden McLean. Joanne Hutchinson. Barry Ingleson. Lauren Inglis. Cora Jackson. Joanna Kanaveski. Rachel Lees. Courtney Levy. Barbara Ann Mackay. Catriona McKinnon. Olivia Mannion. Megan McGee. Megan McIntosh. Emily Mackay. Cove McLaughlin. Ben Middleton. Louise Murphy. Erin Park. Janice Pennington. Cara Perkins. Jennifer Ramsey. Kate Richards. Carolyn Robertson. Shauna Ryan. Christy Scott. Catherine Sheridan. Julie Stenhouse. Andrew Sumster. Fatima Sabliska. Laura Tinlin. Danielle Venturini. Emma Ward. Harriet Watson. Rachel Weir. Claire Wells. Anna Young. Marzi Yousefi. And for the postgraduate diploma in secondary education, Abby Clarkson. Robin Dodd. Jordan Evans. Sally Fletcher. Connor Grant. Emma Grant. Jessica McClary. Rory McGrath. Laura Mills. Aaron Ross. Emma Wiley. Kirsty Young. And for a Master of Education, Aaron Brown. Lorraine Day. Iona Maltman. Anna Thompson. Melissa Cowan. Sarah Elawasi. Sarah Gillespie. Rebecca Lisa Payne. Jillian Ronald. Lee Selvey. And for Master of Science, Elizabeth Bolton. Catherine Burt. Eveline Chan. Laura Clark. Ailsa Darling. Carmel Jacob. Lauren Kingston. Richard Lockhart. Claire McCoggy. Claire McCluskey. Deborah McIntosh. Carrie McMillan. Victoria Mortison. Michelle O'Grady. Sarah Rasmussen. Hope Thompson. Rachel Whitby. Keith Dow. Shalane Fraser Robertson. Jasmine Ashming Pong. Louise Kearney. Luis Chirindo. Brenda Clooney. Carly Davidson. Claire Ferrier. Cara Gibb. Paula Cleve. Greg Hardy. Margaret Jameson. Emma Kane. Carolyn Lucas. Ross McCormick. Hannah McDade. Emily Mackay. Stacy Miller. Kirsten Owen. Colette Scott. Maya Sever. Lauren Syme. Jenna Whittet. And Maureen Civita. And for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Arif Alashami.
Thank you, Professor Kelly. I call upon Professor Kim Dale from the School of Life Sciences. Now, just pause for a moment, because those in an official capacity, that's probably the first time those words in that form have ever been said to you, Professor Dale, because Professor Dale has newly been promoted. So I think we should give her a round of applause. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Vice-Chancellor, I have the honour to present, for the degree of Bachelor of Science with Honours, Shannon Noble. Hussaina Salim. For the Bachelor of Science, Owen Thorogood. For the Diploma of Higher Education, Tegan Gibson. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Francesca Anna Carrieri. Laura D'Ignazio. Carmen Escudera Martinez. Wenbin Guo. Charlotte Hurst. Wei Wei Kung. Stylianos Kyriakidis. And Pragya Mukherjee.
I call upon the Interim Dean of the School of Science and Engineering, Professor Annalou Waller.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present for the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Neil Lavarius. For the postgraduate certificate in anatomy and advanced forensic anthropology, Chloe Trevor. For the degree of Master of Science, Sri Devi Dakshinamurti. Andrea Frost. Lavinia Kachabile. Catherine Lacey Gotts. Amanda Martinson. Michelle Needham. Valentina Punchi. Scott Cleveland. Lambert, Claire Hunter, Emily Tarding, Pierre Wild, Jerry Monroe, Ifei Di Ra Rằng, Thao Dinh Rằng, Scott O'Reilly, Pierre Carlos Rodriguez, Hung Chung Wong, Carol McCorkindale, Min Kuei Hsu, James Cooper, Juan Garcia Sistenas, Georgios Kapsalakis, Syed Naqvi, Amira Aslam, Gabriele Catelas, Amanda Cochran, Hila Matatita, Stephanie Sharples, Madeline Smith, Ivana Toyosameko, Fiona Yao, Julie Cork, Ravina Mimpak, William Morris, Lindsay Reinhardt, Desiree Davis, Charlie Hardcastle Foster, Janos Karamias, Lynn Morrison, Claudia Pitcher, Sarah Swipe, Alice Howard, June Yu Leo, Maria Lichidero, Nicholas Repas, Douglas Christie, Tyler Halliway, Thomas Cummins, Gareth McPherson, Martin Speed, Bartolomé Derivici, Satyajit Sen, Thomas Taunton, Alicia Cowley, Sophia Hannenberg, Eve Laws, Dahin Lee, Yashwina Minowa, Hannah Neary, Naomi Senior, Sophie Winston, Luke Senerom, Grilla Kizella, Marsara Balcombos, Diana Balestero, Ahmed Shana, Georgios Campoulos, Kerry Mackay, David Malcolm, Oliver Oldfield, Alexander Sterling, Ian Cameron, Juan Dora Chen, for the Doctor of Philosophy, Adam Forrest. Eugene Lin, Gualia Tamburini, and Grant Thompson.
We have another special student here. This is Grant Thompson. And Grant left school with virtually no qualifications. I think that's fair to say, isn't it?
Yeah, fair enough.
But he graduates today, as you can see, with a PhD in forensic anthropology. And he completed this sneakily without actually telling his wife and children, which is a feat in itself, it seems to me. He worked for Tayside Police and was persuaded by his wife, Lucina Hickman, who's here in the audience today. Where are you, Lucina? There you are, watching on. She knows now, by the way. She figured it out at some point during the process. And of course, by Professor Dame Sue Black, persuaded him particularly to take the postgraduate certificate in disaster victim identification that was set up in the Center for Anatomy and Human Identification. That was then extended to a master's, and so by stealth he moved eventually through the power of persuasion into completing a PhD in part-time study within 4 years, as I understand it. So it's another, I think, fantastic Dundee story of how you can achieve great things with persistence and, I think, with a push and help from your friends and colleagues. And that lady over there in particular. I suspect that lady over there too. Yeah, congratulations, Grant. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Professor Waller. I call upon the Vice Principal, Professor Carl Lydecker.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honour to invite you to confer their degrees in absence upon the candidates who have been unable to attend this ceremony.
By the authority of the Senate, I confer these degrees.
Now, it's traditional at this centre point of our ceremony to take a few moments of collective celebration. We've already had some very good applause in the hall, and my job now is to stimulate a really rousing final celebration by all of you. But before we do that, I must say I think there's a gentleman in the audience who really should be up here doing that rather than me, because he got a wonderful response up on the gallery. So he has set the tone for what we are about to do in a moment, which is we're going to dial it up all the way, as the old joke goes, to 11. So we're going to raise the volume, we're going to celebrate together, and if you take the opportunity, you'll find that the floors in here make a great noise if you stamp your feet, whistling, shouting, whatever you feel like. So can I end by thanking you all and many congratulations. Let's go.
Well, that was brilliant. We'll see what they can do this afternoon. They've got a hard act to follow. I have the honour to present for the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa, Professor Bob Michel. Bob, you have to stand up now. Face the audience. So, this is my final year as Vice-Chancellor and Principal of this wonderful and extraordinary university. And I was given the chance to nominate my own personal choices for honorary degrees this year. And right at the top of my list was this man here, Bob Michel. And I'm going to explain why. Because I first met Bob by accident. But it was one of the luckiest days of my life. I'd been working as a lab assistant for a pharmaceutical company, and after completing my degree through part-time study, decided I wanted to pursue a career in research, which meant leaving work and doing a PhD. And my boss at the time had come from Birmingham University, and he put me in touch with the head of biochemistry there, Professor Sam Perry, who agreed to interview me. But fortunately, the practice in Birmingham was for applicants to meet many members of staff. And in my case, one of these was Bob. His appearance was striking, to say the least. A headbanded Joni Mitchell fan and hippie from the 1960s, alive and well in 1978. And he still is. Alive and well and a hippie. But unlike anyone else I met on that day, he sat me down in his office and talked to me as an equal. And what he had to say about his research excited me and focused my mind completely. At that point, I desperately wanted to come to Birmingham to work in Bob's lab. And incredibly, for me, both Bob and the university granted my wish. And so began 3 years that would change my life forever. I think the slide should appear on the up there any moment. There it is. So that slide shows Bob. It also shows me receiving my PhD in the snow in Birmingham in January 1982, I think. So more importantly than his impact on my life, Bob also transformed a field of research from something of a backwater to one of profound importance in our understanding of cell biology. My particular luck was in joining the lab after many years of painstaking work by Bob's group, just a couple of years before the first really big breakthrough came along. And it was incredibly exciting to be a budding scientist at the heart of a breaking field. And I'm pleased to say that we're joined today by many colleagues, some of whom were part of the lab at that time, and others whose independent work was inspired by Bob, and in many cases continues to be so. None of our careers would have been the same without Bob's influence, and we share an immense debt of gratitude to him. Now, Bob was interested, and still is, in the cellular metabolism of a class of molecules called phospholipids, which are important components of cell membranes. He made the seminal contribution to our current knowledge that one family of such molecules, the inositol phospholipids, furnish cells with an amazing array of intracellular signaling molecules which control every conceivable response of cells and tissues to a bewildering variety of hormones, neurotransmitters, and growth factors. That work has its origins in experiments which began in 1953, when Mabel and Lowell Hokin observed an increase in the rate of metabolism of inositol phospholipids specifically, when secretory tissues were incubated with a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. In the ensuing years, many laboratories were to report similar findings in many different tissues responding to many hormones. But nobody had a clue what this ubiquitous response was for. Bob's key insight was to recognize what all these responses had in common. They all used calcium as an intracellular signal, and he proposed that the metabolic breakdown of these lipids provided a chemical link between hormones acting at the cell surface and an intracellular calcium signal. Bob's lab and others then dissected the molecular details of this response, culminating in the finding by Mike Berridge, Robin Irvin and their colleagues, and eventually many other groups, that a breakdown product of inositol phospholipids called IP3 was the key missing link in this calcium signaling response. And two of the people I mentioned who've joined us for this ceremony today, Robin Irvin, whose name I just mentioned, and Jim Putney, played leading roles in securing that link that Bob had proposed all those years ago. Now, this could have been the end of the story, but in fact, it was just the beginning. Inspired by these findings, many labs around the world focused their attention on this class of phospholipids, revealing myriad functions, including how cells accurately move materials between intracellular compartments, and one of the holy grails of physiology, the molecular basis of insulin action. And the latter mechanism is shared with many growth factors and turns out to be a common source of mutations in human cancers. So the work is already leading to new mechanism-based tumor-specific drugs. Thousands of scientists around the world now work in the field of inositol phospholipid signaling that Bob founded. But in the true mold of scientific pioneers, when he first proposed his hypothesis, very few scientists agreed. But the painstaking work his ideas provoked changed all that. Now, one of the reasons Bob succeeded where others had failed was because he did not confine his interests to the narrow field of phospholipid metabolism. It was only by combining knowledge of biochemistry, physiology, pharmacology, chemistry, neuroscience, and cell biology that he was able to formulate his proposal linking inositol lipids to calcium signaling. And this is just one of the many lessons I learned as a student in Bob's lab. And it's also one we're trying to put into practice here at the University of Dundee, bringing different disciplines to bear on complex problems and providing all students with the opportunity to work together on multidisciplinary projects. So Bob, your influence goes on and on. His key scientific discovery, to my mind, is not the only remarkable thing about Bob, because he believes that science should be done in open debate, in a spirit of critical collaboration. He is a great writer and thinker, and helped me and others to realize it was important to design and interpret experiments carefully, to communicate results accurately, especially when those results didn't accord with the common understanding of the time, and especially to focus on the simplest possible interpretation of the data. He has been immeasurably generous with his knowledge and insights, so that those working in the field he established are amongst the most collaborative I have known, despite the current tendency for important research to be pursued in a highly competitive manner. And I know countless scientists, some of them here today, as I mentioned, who worked with Bob, and others who are influenced by the work coming out of his lab and by his generous nature, who, like me, owe their scientific careers to him, and they feel part of the international scientific community he created. That's another thing that we're trying to do in Dundee, create a sense of community in our academic life, and it's a very important factor in our modern world. Bob is fond of natural history, especially birds, and his hero was the great naturalist Peter Scott, who founded the Wildfowl Trust at Slimbridge. Scott was also Chancellor at Birmingham University when I completed my PhD. But sadly, as you can see from the yes, indeed, as you could have seen, were the slides still up there, that day, about a foot of snow fell, and it was minus 15 degrees centigrade overnight. And as I recall it, my wife is sitting in the stalls there, the toilet froze. And as a consequence of which, Peter Scott did not make it to the graduation ceremony. So I didn't get my great wish, and Bob did get his chance to meet with his hero, Chancellor Peter Scott, unfortunately. Nevertheless, for me, it was a great privilege to have studied at a university that at that time had one of my heroes as well as one of Bob's heroes in the Chancellor's role. Bob is married to Esther Oppenheim, who's with us today. And they have a daughter, Naomi, now aged 32, and a son, Ben, aged 26. And Bob also has a son, Joe, aged 43, from his previous marriage. As a result of Bob's discoveries, he's received many awards and much recognition, including being made a Fellow of the Royal Society and a Distinguished Royal Society Research Professor. But this formal recognition barely touches the surface of his broader contribution as a scientist, a mentor, and a much-loved and admired colleague. So I have the honor to present for the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, Professor Bob Michel. Yeah, you need to go and play for the audience for a minute. Give us a hug. Now you have to do this.
Right.
So, I was supposed to do that when I said the words,
Right,
but I was
okay.
full of emotion,
Fair
so
enough.
I couldn't do it. And then you get that as well.
Okay.
And would you care to address
I would certainly
the
like-
audience?
How do I follow that? I've got some notes here. I'll try and be brief. Thanks, Pete, and congratulations to all of you for your achievements. One of the things Pete didn't mention is I was once the external examiner for this university's biochemistry degree, and actually I saw how good Dundee graduates were as a result. He's made a comment already on the fact that he's gathered to go with his pending retirement and my being here a number of people from around the world who work in our research field. That's the Old Lags Gallery over on the left there, and means we've got a wonderful party. And as Pete said, he started his research career with me long ago, nearly 4 decades ago. He didn't mention how extraordinarily lucky I was at that point, because I had a remarkable group of young scientists alongside me. I knew they were bloody good. I had no idea how good. And, that was except on occasional sunny days when I would arrive and find the lab deserted. They'd all gone fishing. But they kept my freezer stocked with trout. He also failed to mention that he and another student in the lab at the same time, Judith Kreber, he said I'd been struggling with a problem for many years which Mabel and Lowell Hokin had posed 20 years earlier. And I'd been struggling, and I had an idea of the answer, and it wasn't right. And it was Pete and Judith who made the set of observations that shifted the field to go in the right direction and solved a puzzle that had been around for 30 years. But, that's history. The problem for you is where you go next and your futures. And when I started thinking about what to say here, an obvious idea was to comment on the ever-increasing pace of change in the 20th century, to which you're going to all have to adapt throughout your careers, so you should be frightened as hell. But then, like my own son, my oldest son, who's used his maths and computing degree first as a bass guitarist in a blues band and as a computer programmer for an online gambling company. And then he decided it wasn't very useful. So he's now evolved into an academic economist. And I still don't know what he does or what it means. But then I started to look back over half a century in science, which started long before Pete arrived in Birmingham. And I actually realized all this stuff about things going terribly fast, things have been moving incredibly fast for a long time. For example, in the middle of the 20th century, just before I was a student, there was much talk about computers, but none of us ever encountered them. We even wondered whether robots would take over our jobs and leave everybody with lots of leisure. New jobs have replaced lots of the old ones. That leisure hasn't arrived. Then I arrived at Birmingham University. Its great hall at the time, the place where they hold ceremonies like this, doubled as a student refectory. And in the exam periods, smells of cabbage would waft up into the room, which was a bit distracting. Then the university built new dining rooms and kitchens elsewhere on the campus, and the great hall became much more fragrant. And this liberated the basement. That liberated basement kitchen space could then house the university's one computer with a huge cooling system and all the people that had to look after it. A decade after that, computers were a great rarity. We had a friend who was doing a PhD on a wonderful mathematical abstraction called a baby monster group. I still don't know what it is, but it required complex calculation. And these calculations could only be done once a week after midnight when he was allowed total access to the university's one computer. So just after Peter had left the lab, I finally got my first personal computer. It had so little memory that when I wrote a scientific paper, I had to write 2 files, the first half and the second half, and save each one on a cassette tape recorder separately. You might remember cassette tape recorders if you're lucky. Then the department bought a word processor. This was a multi-user computer that did nothing but prepare typed text, and we had to retrain the typists. At that time, we could only exchange written information very slowly by mail or over long distances by email. And if we sent off a research paper, it went by mail, and the answer as to whether it would be published would come back by mail. All of this was happening long before we had faxes, which you probably just about remember, PCs, the internet, email, wireless, smartphones, Skype, the cloud, whatever that is. And all arrived long after I became a university lecturer and after Peter had done his PhD. So what was happening into biology, which was our research subject over that period? The double helical structure of DNA, which you all don't now know about a little bit, was deciphered in 1953. It suggested how DNA might function as genetic material. And exactly as I got my first degree, Jim Watson, Francis Crick, and Maurice Wilkins shared a Nobel Prize for discovering the structure of DNA. DNA as an idea has now become so culturally entrenched in life that everybody now talks of the inbuilt characteristics of any organism, or of even any organization, as being in their DNA. DNA has many meanings. It's precise genetic information, which is what it really is. It's an everyday metaphor for the properties of anything, and it helps to catch criminals. And it took another 30 years after that for researchers to construct the first genetic map of a complex organism, a yeast, and another decade and about $1 billion and work of hundreds and thousands of scientists to get the first one complete human genome. Now, gathering such information is straightforward. You can actually use a little bit of kit, not much bigger than a matchbox, which will read the information of a human genome in a day. And there are important practical results. For example, major cancer centers are starting to completely sequence and compare a patient's DNA with their cancer's DNA and tailor the treatment that they give those people to match the genetic changes in the cancer. Well, I mean, when my friends and I were sitting around in the 60s as graduate students in the lab, drinking coffee, smoking, think about health and safety's reaction, and thinking what we thought we were thinking up unanswerable biological questions. Most of those questions were answered within about 20 or 30 years, and the problems that researchers are now routinely solving were questions we couldn't even think of then. So the world's been changing very fast for a long time, and it'll continue to do so. Is it really going to be changing any faster during your working lives than ours? I'm not sure. Or even during the slightly more than a century that separated last month the retirement of the Kepler Space Telescope, which had sent back to Earth the information which identified thousands of planets round other stars and generated the general ideas that most stars have planets. That was just over a century after Marconi managed to send one letter of Morse code by radio between two adjacent rooms. So I don't think change is that strikingly different now than it ever was. So what's ahead of you is completely unfathomable. But very good luck to you, whatever you do. And then last night I was thinking about modifying this talk, and I thought of something that Barack Obama said as he finished his presidential term and handed on to his distinguished successor. Change happens when ordinary people get involved, get engaged, and come together to demand the change in the right direction, we hope. Good luck to you all, and I hope your time is peaceful.
Thank you, Bob. Please be upstanding. I declare this academic ceremony closed. Sorry? Do not declare this academic ceremony closed because my notes do not include the fact that we have the choir prepared to sing for us. And I was disappointed when I saw my notes that didn't include that, so I'm very pleased to say that we can all sit down again and listen to the choir. Thank you.
Rolling down the avenue, see how
Thank you, choir. It is always one of the highlights, and I've checked again. It doesn't say anything about it. And when I heard you singing when we came in, I checked them again just to make sure. Anyway, we got there in the end. We've already rehearsed this bit. Would you please be upstanding? Thank you. So I now, for the second time, declare this academic ceremony closed. Thank you.